Americans at this point do not like ICE. And that is very different from what we saw during Trump's first term. Just take a look here. ICE's net approval rating. Look at where we are today. We're talking about a negative 17-point approval rating. That is a 17-point drop from where we were during Trump's first term. Among independents, the number is even lower in terms of the net approval rating. And why is it that ICE is so unpopular at this point? ICE enforcement is making U.S. cities less safe. Look at this. 51%. 51% of Americans say that ICE enforcement in cities is making those cities less safe.
Believe it or not, I actually believe the results of this poll, even though it's coming from CNN, and even though it was presented on the primetime dump that's hosted by Caitlin Collins. Katie Roo! Katie Roo! Obviously, the girl named Rue is a paid propagandist. She is nowhere near as paid as a propagandist like Rachel Maddow. The girl named Rue, she is more of a minimum wage propagandist. But just because she is not as compensated for her lies, it doesn't mean that the Rue isn't efficient when it comes to polishing the turd. Even though this data was presented by CNN, I actually believe it. I believe there are a lot of independents. I believe there are a lot of normal people who have been fooled into not supporting ICE. For starters, anytime you repeat something over and over and over, eventually there will be people who accept the repeated narrative as fact. For months, the media has been pretending that ICE is arresting innocent people. This evil Gestapo is separating innocent mothers from their children. Oh, the children! It's all about the children! For months, we have seen these somewhat violent clips of ICE arresting people, many of which have been edited to remove important contextual details. Details like, oh, I don't know, a so-called great American poet attempting to run over federal agents with her incredibly dangerous SUV, which was emitting toxic gas into our weakened atmosphere, or edited footage which shows ICE agents arresting an illegal immigrant who doesn't speak a single word of English. Americans just don't like violence, so it's understandable why some normal people who are busy working and raising their families, it's understandable why they have fallen into the trap. I know violence is no bueno. I know most people aren't comfortable with it, but whether you want to believe it or not, we are at war. And I'm not talking about Venezuela. I'm not talking about Iran. I'm not talking about China or Vlad Putin and Mother Russia. America is at war with professional agitators. America is at war with the radical base of the Party of the Donkey. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to Tim Walz. Watch for yourself.
We've never been at war with our federal government.
Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Does that sound to you like Timmy and his terrific tampons are promoting peace? Does it sound like Captain Doofus is promoting unity? Tim Walz is using the lost life of the great American poet Renee Good in a desperate attempt to distract the mainstream from the billions of dollars in fraud in the Islamic Republic of Minnesota. And it sounds to me like Tim Walz is encouraging his subjects to engage in espionage. Last I checked, espionage was not an act of peace, it's an act of war. The thing is, one side realizes that they're at war. The doofus Democrats, the indoctrinated dumbasses in the streets that they are using to create chaos, they understand They're in a war. The Trumper, ICE agents, they damn sure understand because they're the ones dealing with it on a daily basis. But for some reason, normal people in America are still asleep. And it's time to wake up. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, talked about one of the top quarterback prospects in the NFL draft rejecting the NFL to return to college. Dante Moore, he is turning down $50 million in guaranteed money to make $2.5 million next year at Oregon. I give you all the details, so if you haven't already, click the link in the description or the pinned comment below and subscribe to the second channel. Headline at Mediaite: Trump warns he will use Insurrection Act if Minnesota officials fail to end ICE protest. Translation: Don Trump is declaring war on the Islamic Republic of Minnesota. Don Trump is promising to come in and kick ass if Tim Walz doesn't get his dump under control. Now, you just heard recent comments from Tim Walz. Does it sound like Timmy is committed to ending these protests? Am I the only one that feels like we have seen this movie before? Am I the only one who notices the similarities here? Gather around, kids. Uncle KC is going to give you a history lesson. We're going to go all the way back to the summer of 2020. According to historians at Woke U, the summer of 2020 is described as the summer of woke love. Barf. That summer, thousands of paid protesters, peaceful protesters, thousands of people suddenly filled the streets of major cities to protest the death of Sir George Floyd. Now, at the time, normal people were being told that they had to stay home. Normal people were being told that it was far too dangerous to be around each other. There was a deadly contagious virus going around called the COVID. Normal people were required to wear masks in public, and really they weren't allowed to leave home. But the weird thing about the COVID, the restrictions didn't seem to apply to professional protesters. They were allowed to fill the streets of major cities for weeks. They were making demands. They wanted to defund the police. When your purse is fleeced, don't you call the police, call social worker Shanice. Does any of this sound familiar? It is the exact same movie, same plot line. Hell, it's the same actors and the same directors. 2020, it was defund the police. 2026, abolish ICE. 2020, the police were falsely labeled as Nazis. Today, ICE is the Gestapo. 2020, their end goal was to get the Trumper out of office, and it worked. Today, the short-term goal is the midterms, but I think doofus Democrats want to regain control of Congress so they can impeach the Trumper and get him out of office. The question is, will it work again? To their credit, it's a brilliant plan. The party of the donkey knows they can't win on policy. Doofus Democrats know that most Americans don't believe men can get pregnant. Most Americans do not want open borders. The only way doofus Democrats can win is to create constant chaos, hoping that normal people will beg for a return to normalcy. You guys remember that? This was the entire foundation of John Biden's 2020 campaign. Return to normal. Build back better. Build back better. They wanted to build back what they destroyed to begin with. My question is, why in the hell are we doing this again? They are trying to manipulate us. It's not like 2020 was 60 years ago. It was 6 years ago. We just escaped 4 years of incompetence, 4 years of misery with John Biden and Cam Harris. And now, people want to give power back to Democrats? You want a little preview of coming attractions? Let me show you what life is like in the dump known as Minneapolis-stan. Watch for yourself.
Don't fucking touch the car. Hey, get back up. Get back.
People over property, but without people there isn't property.
Right before I recorded this video, I took my Yorkies, Chewy and Oreo, for a walk around the neighborhood. When I walk through my suburban neighborhood, I see perfectly manicured yards. Kids are riding their bikes down the street. And when I say they are riding their bikes, I mean they are literally riding, because the bikes these days are motorized. These damn kids, they don't even have to pedal to make the bike move. There wasn't a single piece of trash on the ground on the sidewalk as we were walking. When I walk through my neighborhood, I don't have to worry about Oreo and Chew sniffing around and finding a gigantic pile of human doodle on the sidewalk. They might find some doggy doodle, but my neighbors aren't using the sidewalk as their personal toilet. When I go to the neighborhood gas station, I don't have to worry about bums sitting around the gas pumps starting a damn fire. There are no clotheslines in my neighborhood displaying people's dirty laundry. Everyone has washers and dryers. You know what else I don't have to worry about? I don't have to worry about some deranged lunatic interfering with an ICE operation. Why? Because ICE isn't in my neighborhood. And the reason ICE isn't in my neighborhood is because, to my knowledge, everyone in my neighborhood is here legally. And even if someone is here illegally, they're not causing problems. They're good neighbors, so they stay under the radar. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is a war. This same thing happened in 2020. Doofus Democrats have finally realized that they can't win. They have finally realized that America has rejected their policies. The only way for them to win is causing constant chaos. It is no coincidence that these protests magically happen when Democrats aren't in power. When they lose elections, they throw a temper tantrum. Or when they are being investigated for billions of dollars in fraud, they throw a temper tantrum. Have you noticed? No one is talking about the fraud in Minnesota anymore. No one is talking about the mythical daycares. I wonder why. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.